Live from CBS 4, this is your News Now.
We want to empower them to vote and use their voice and stand up for other humans in whatever way that means.
Reactions still coming in tonight to the near total ban on abortion now in effect in Indiana. A protest started at the governor's mansion earlier today. That protest continues tonight. And an abortion rights march also got underway tonight about an hour ago at Tarkenton Park. This is a live picture. This group has now joined the protests at the governor's mansion tonight.
Indiana's new abortion law went into effect at midnight. Indiana was the first state to pass an abortion ban after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade in June. The ban includes exceptions in cases of rape and incest before the 10th week of pregnancy. Exceptions also exist to protect the mother's health and in the case of a fatal fetal anomaly. Although this law is now in effect, it still faces several legal challenges that have yet to be decided.
2 lawsuits have been filed challenging the near total ban. CBS 4 State House reporter Kristen Eskow joins us live after her exclusive interview with Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita, the man who will defend the law in court. Kristen.
Well, that's right, Bob and Debbie. Even though the lawsuits have not stopped this law from taking effect today, it's still possible enforcement of this law could be put on hold if a preliminary injunction is issued. Now, Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita tells me he feels good about the state's chances in upholding this law.
We can't minimize how serious the loss of abortion rights in Indiana will be.
ACLU of Indiana's legal director Ken Falk says he's hopeful judges will put Indiana's near total abortion ban on hold as the 2 lawsuits he has filed are decided. One argues a right to privacy violation under the Indiana Constitution. The other argues the ban comes into conflict with Indiana's religious freedom law, since not all religions believe life begins at conception.
That is not the view of Islam. That is not the view of Judaism. It's not the view of some Christian denominations.
Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita has vowed to defend the state against any lawsuits filed.
Indiana has had an abortion ban in its history before Roe v. Wade.
With the law now in effect, Rokita is also focusing on enforcement and says his office will present violations to the state's medical licensing board. But he says any complaints will be vetted first, and those investigations will be prompted by reports his office receives.
I doubt we're going to rove around with deputy attorney generals looking in facilities and that kind of thing. It's going to be driven by complaints and tips we receive.
As far as the lawsuits go, Jody Madeira, who teaches law at Indiana University, says either could be successful, though there's little precedent for the religious freedom case.
We're used to basically having a pattern of conservative individuals filing suit, arguing that certain state laws obligate them to do things that are counter to their religious principles. Here, the theory of the case is a little bit different.
Now, the hearing on the first lawsuit, which focuses on right to privacy, is set for Monday afternoon in Monroe County, and that's when the judge could decide on whether to issue a preliminary injunction and put this law temporarily on hold as the case is decided. As for that second lawsuit that focuses on religious freedom, a court date has just been set. That's for October 14th here in Marion County. For now, we're live at the State House this evening. Kristen Eskow, CBS 4 News.
Kristen, thank you. Indiana State Democrats held a news conference on the steps of the State House to speak out against the new law and to encourage their supporters to vote in November.
There are few things more important than fighting to guarantee basic human rights. There is no more important moment than right now, standing together as we continue to push back against the Republican supermajority's power grab.
Attorney General Rokita was the only Republican state leader who spoke with us today about the new law. More now on those protests going on right now at the governor's mansion. Protesters say they want state government to know they're not going quietly. They will keep speaking out and empowering others with information about the impact of this new law.
I think that there are going to be a lot of medical issues. We've already seen in other states where there have been complete abortion bans, women are suffering. They have a hard time proving that their life is in danger. They don't want to listen to the doctors, just like they didn't want to listen to the doctors at the Indiana State House.
Governor Holcomb was not at the governor's mansion today. He attended an economic development announcement in Marion.
Well, with the new law, some Indiana abortion clinics are preparing now to close down for good. However, one provider says the new law will not stop her from providing patients with abortion care. CBS 4's Max Lewis explains she's taking her expertise to other states where most abortions are legal.
The Women's Med Center on Indy's east side was seeing patients just yesterday. Today, they're having to turn people away, leaving the waiting room empty.
My heart is just with the people who are realizing they'll be forced to continue pregnancies that they don't want or can't afford.
Dr. Katie McHugh has provided abortions at this clinic for years. Now she says it's in the process of packing up and is referring patients to other states where most abortions are legal.
We know that patients are already having to flock to those states, that the migration for just basic health care has already started.
Dr. McHugh is also moving on after obtaining medical licenses in Illinois and Maryland. She has 3 more pending in other states and says the move is necessary because of the harmful impacts of Indiana's new law.
This is going to cause so much trauma that I think is really just undefinable right now, and we're going to be dealing with this for likely generations.
Meanwhile, anti-abortion advocates say this law will save lives.
This is a major moment in Indiana. We are expecting to see a 95% reduction in abortions in our state going forward.
President of Indiana's Right to Life, Mike Fichter, says the state can support mothers and babies. However, he'd still like to see the day when no abortions are legal.
Everyone deserves a chance to be born and has value, regardless of the means of one's conception.
Despite the change, Dr. McHugh told me she's still hopeful that she'll eventually be able to see patients again in her home state. On the east side, Max Lewis, CBS 4 News.
Max, thank you. We also spoke with Attorney General Todd Rokita today about a case involving a different Indiana doctor. You may remember in July, the Attorney General opened an investigation into Dr. Caitlin Bernard, who performed an abortion on a 10-year-old rape survivor from Ohio. Well, he says that he can't discuss the timeline for or the specifics of the case at this moment, but he says he's treating this case like any other.
Well, if it's me, it's been my predecessor and my predecessor before that and everything. It's the job that we do at the Attorney General's office is to enforce Indiana law. Now, this one might have been high profile, but it doesn't change our actions or how we behave or how we investigate the complaints that we receive.
We will continue to cover this story from every angle, and if you head over to CBS4Indy.com, you'll find the same information and a breakdown of this law.